This content is for kids.
It's not for kids.
Isn't that what I said?
No, it's not for kids. If you are 13 years or younger, this is not for you. Do I have to kill somebody in order to actually make that point across?
No, man, you don't have to kill
Wait
no
a
one.
second.
No.
When we return to our planet, the High Court may well sentence you to torture.
He likes movies, we like movies. SeptumSin versus the world. SeptumSin versus the world. SeptumSin versus the world. SeptumSin versus the world. I'd buy that for $1.
Greetings and welcome to another edition of What We Watched. We watched some fun stuff in March. March was my month to present on Inside Movies Galore. So we kind of covered Monkey Business because it was on the 1st of March, so I know most of us watched it prior to March.
Probably, yeah.
But I had some other films that were kind of cool on there. We had The Night is Short, Walk On Girl, which went over... That was a very good discussion. I was... even Dane, who hated the film, was very good in how he presented his dislike of it. It was like, yes, personally, I hated it for here, here, and here, but... when I stepped myself back from it, I actually thought it was really good here, here, and here. So he was able to separate himself for the most part, more so than, say, Scott Pilgrim, for instance. And I was surprised Kroll actually kind of liked it.
Yeah, that was kind of... the so-called anime hater.
So I thought it was a reasonable success as far as things go. Then of course we hit The Gamers classic. I mean, not much to say about The Gamers. Just if you haven't seen it, it's a great short film. It's on YouTube. If you are like a tabletop gamer,
Right.
and you've not seen it, watch it. We covered Detroit Metal City. We had a great discussion on my channel. It was going to be on Mo's channel, but he had said because of the whole Castle in the Sky mashup, which I wasn't even a part of, to just do it on my channel. I don't know how that turned out because I wasn't there. But we had a great Detroit Metal City discussion, both of them. I think it was great. It compliments, and I kind of look forward to June when we do the Puella movies paired with the Puella series with the anime discussion.
DMC.
And the more and more that we get closer and closer, the more and more I think to myself that Zetsubo Sensei will ship. At least I hope. They haven't moved a date yet.
Yeah.
But it's not the 19th yet. So we'll see. And then, of course, we ended on Titanic, The Legend Goes On.
Everyone's favorite.
Such a fun film. With rapping dogs and...
It's party time.
And then we had a discussion about Honey and Clover, and it was kind of back and forth. We had people that really hated it, and then me who loves it. So, and then people in between.
Indeed.
So it was an interesting discussion of back and forth. Which next month is going to be Konosuba, so that's going to be a very different discussion.
Konosuba, God's blessing on this wonderful world.
So very interesting.
Indeed. Now, of course, I can't put all of Honey and Clover on March because reasons, but I got most of it in March.
Because, we had some in March and some... You also watched some in February, too, didn't you? Because that was when
that was when
original first was going to be.
I think I had watched about half of season 1 in February.
I want to say you got all but the last couple episodes, didn't you?
No, it was the first volume.
No, okay, Dave got all but the last 2 episodes watched. I remember now.
Yeah.
So, All right. Well,
Well, as far as communal stuff, we'll go ahead as well because there's also a separate video for this. You could say the Oscars 2022 were part of our viewing. So check out our video for that.
oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess I'll go ahead and let you go since I just hit a whole bunch of them for that. Go ahead and throw.
Well, and honestly, the you of course have more on the list, but I have a couple I'll start with. First being, I'll just go ahead and mention that, as he said, there was a Castle in the Sky discussion that was pushed back from the end of February. And to prep for that, I rewatched the Japanese dub of Castle in the Sky. And as part of my prep for the Night of Short Walk On Girl, I finally got to watch the Tatami Galaxy, which is a wonderful little film from the same author and same showrunner, director, Masaki Yuasa, the director, and the oh man, I'm forgetting the author's name. But anyway, set in the same basic region, Kyoto, if I recall correctly. A couple of the characters are the same. It is an interesting show about a young man who keeps trying to get it right. It's kind of a Groundhog Day-ish thing. Or it could also be seen as a video game where someone keeps getting to... yes, it's where he keeps trying for the good end. He keeps ending up with different bad ends until the end, where he finally succeeds. Really cool show. It's got a great EDM end closer that I love, and I just did the opening theme by an Asian Kung Fu Generation. Just great.
I really like the show, though there is a lot that reminds me of Zetsubo Sensei.
There is.
Especially when it comes to how hard it is to follow. There's a lot of reading involved, and a lot of quick reading.
There is.
Not quite as quick as Zetsubo Sensei will be. It's going to be interesting to see how well I keep up with that. But, it's, I liked it myself. It's been a while since I watched my copy. Mine's a European copy. I thought about getting the USA format copy, though mine's a legit copy.
And yours looks cool.
Yeah, that's like mine is a lot cooler. It's art cards. It's actually a premium edition. So I'm like, I'm fine with it.
The main advantage to the Funimation one would be you'd get more maneuverability where you could play it.
That's the only advantage for me. I watched Animu as well after the beginning of the month, and I did watch A Castle in the Sky to prep for that thing, but I think I watched it last month. In February to prep.
Right.
I went ahead and finished off A Certain Scientific Railgun T, which is the third season in that series. A pretty cool series. Okay, so during the Right Stuff sale, part of it's going out of print, which is part 1 of that season. And I saw it was going out of print everywhere, and Right Stuff was still like, expecting more, may ship later. It was like 3 months. And I was like, no. I'm not going to have you do what you did to me the one time that I did this. I waited 6 months, and they went and said, oh, well, no, we didn't have enough when you ordered it. Why would you expect to get that? So I was like, no. I found a cheap copy on eBay while they were still cheap, and I got part 1. And as soon as I canceled part 1, the rest of my order shipped, and all that sweating that I was doing over it was gone. It's a good one. I mean, it's about like this like a kind of like Olympics thing that they're doing between schools, like this big giant sports festival. And then all this crazy stuff going on in the background. It's a good series. It's a city of kind of mutants, like everybody's a mutant, like in the X-Men. Oh, they call them Espers. I also watched Audible, which is a one of the short films that was up for Oscar. It was a short documentary, and it was really good. It was about a deaf football team, And it was kind of enlightening, and it was really, like I say, it was a good film overall. I enjoyed it. Didn't win, but hey.
Right.
And that's all for the first.
Would you hit like every short you could on that other one?
Yeah, I'll go ahead on the third just to
Might
go
as well.
because it'll be funny. I watched Lead Me Home, which I do not remember what that's about.
Haven't seen it.
Um,
It's on Netflix, so I plan to watch it.
God, what was it about?
I know it's about 40 minutes.
Must not have been all that great. If I Robin was excellent. It was an Aardman project.
Yeah.
It was cute. I watched
It
it.
was.
I watched it at least one more time with Kim. I thought it was fun.
Did she actually enjoy it?
Yeah, she enjoyed it.
Cool.
And 3 songs for Benazir. I think it's Benazir.
Yeah.
And that was okay. You already talked about
Yeah.
that in the previous one, so I won't go too far into it. The Lost Daughter, which
Not a short film.
which when we did our Oscar discussion, I had said no, I hadn't seen that yet, and didn't realize. Wait, yes, I did. And that was an interesting one. It was very good acting. The Best Actress nomination was deserved in that one.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it was about a woman who's kind of stalking her daughter, who she had run out on when she was little. And it's interesting. Doesn't really make you feel all that much for the main actress, but still very good. Very well done. On My Mind, another short film, I believe. Good short film.
That was an excellent one.
That was the one about the guy who was doing the karaoke.
Yeah.
Trust and Believe. You should see it. I think it's on YouTube.
And that was also on mine for the month, so I'll go ahead and mention it as well. I liked it so much I had most of my family sit down and watch it, and they agreed it was a good, solid film. It give you the feels.
Tearjerker.
Yeah.
Tearjerker.
It's like 18 minutes long, and it's still a tearjerker.
An animated one I also thought was really well done was Affairs of the Art.
I think I saw that the same day, actually.
I really liked that one. I
Yeah.
thought it was great. It's about this woman
pretty funny.
talking about her, and she's an artist, and she kind of, and her growing up with her kind of eccentric sister and stuff like that. It was really good. It was a good one to go back to back with.
Well, she's a very late blooming artist. Like her sister was always eccentric, but she tried to do the normal life, and eventually is like, you know what? I want to do art.
And then the winner of animated feature short, Windshield Wiper,
I saw that one too.
which was all right, but it was very artistic. But
Very pretentious and artsy.
I liked the other ones. All of the other ones I liked better than that one.
It was good, but it was kind of pretentious.
Then there's The Long Goodbye, which I believe is the one that won the short film.
The one with Riz
Which,
Ahmed.
I think that was more just to, it was a good one. But I felt like there were stronger short films, which we'll get to some of those also, because I watched most of my Oscar short stuff during this month.
It was partly a pity win for Riz Ahmed, but it was also partly because of the topical nature of the film. I can definitely see.
But there were plenty of topical nature.
Yeah, but this one really hit home for some folks.
Man, I saw a lot of the winners on the third. The Queen of Basketball, which won Best Documentary Short.
And I saw that one too.
That one was really good. I felt like some of the other ones were stronger than this, but I do understand why it was.
It was fun.
And my favorite to win, which was We Were Bullies. I loved that one. That was such a good. That was such a good one.
So annoying.
It was on YouTube for a
If
while.
it was on YouTube, it was not on there long.
Because that's how I saw it.
And it's not there now.
Really good film.
Good times.
All right, well, I'll let you go there. I think I've talked with her enough of them.
Well, I spent a good chunk of the month watching films for 2021. Nominally prepping for Oscar, but more prepping for the Versus Awards, especially early in the month.
Yeah.
But as we just pointed out, during the course of the month, I did do Affairs of the Art, On My Mind, The Windshield Wiper, The Long Goodbye, and The Queen of Basketball. I got a few of them knocked out. And you didn't mention the one that we watched together on Oscar night, but was that one you had already done, or you were?
Yeah, I'd already done.
Okay, So we did Please Hold, and oh, holy crap, that was a good one. That was
That was the one I thought should have won, but it's just it hits. Yes,
Yeah.
the other things they're making general statements, but people know this already.
right,
This one hits home in a way
right.
that people I don't think realize until they see it, and then it clicks in their head.
You
I
know,
was
like,
telling my mother
oh,
about it, and she was like, "Oh my God, that's exactly where we're headed."
right.
And I was just like, "Yes, that one is far scarier to me."
Yeah,
Because it's still about rounding people up.
right. And because it's so like The Long Goodbye is very explicitly and blatantly about racial profiling and racial discrimination, and basically you've got this group, this SWAT team essentially busting into an affluent neighborhood to take out all the Pakistanis, and it's like for no other reason that is given in the movie. But in Please Hold, the kid is Latino, but the thing about the movie is you never find out, he never finds out why he was arrested. No, nothing. You don't find out. It's a small spoiler, but still awesome to watch the movie anyway. But that's the scary thing, is that if this future came to pass, there's no accountability, there's no one to reach out to, there's no one to, so whether or not it's a racial thing, it becomes something that anyone could be affected by. So that's probably why it hits home for, but I have to admit, if we're being honest, that's why it would hit home for a larger audience, but still, it's an awesome movie.
Oh yeah,
but
who hasn't had issues with automated? Imagine everything being automated.
Yes.
And then on top of that, you got racial profiling, and then on top of that, you've got a corrupt police system and private prison system.
Privatization and
That's just, like I said, that just everything comes together.
Right.
Yeah.
The flip side of that is a movie that's all about the past. A movie that I watched that I really thought deserved more love than it got was Edgar Wright's Last Night in Soho, which is a really fun, well, in some ways really fun, but really that one gets into some pretty rough territory. You've got a young lady who's played by Thomasin McKenzie, who goes to the Soho district in London to go to art school, basically. She wants to study fashion design, and she's a country girl. She's a country bumpkin with who's very innocent and naive at the beginning of the film, and finds out quickly that the big city life is not what she expected, and ends up very quickly moving off campus into the upstairs neighborhood bedroom of this woman's flat. And it's this kindly old woman, the kind of you would expect to have one of these flats. And she starts having these incredibly real visions once she goes to sleep in the room. And in the vision, she becomes a woman who's played by Anya Taylor-Joy in the swinging 60s, back, in the day. And again, very quickly has a rude awakening as to what's really, that life is really like. And much of the film is the main character's struggle with her sanity in a way, but also her struggle as this other individual to stay alive and stay and Taylor-Joy I like her a lot as an actress, and she does a really good job in the film, but McKenzie is flippin' awesome. And she was all over the place last year. She co-starred in Old. She had a small role in The Power of the Dog. But really, really, really was the lead in this film. And I can't wait to see. She's also the one that co-starred in Jojo Rabbit, so I can't wait to see what else she's got lined up. And then, of course, directed by Edgar Wright. His films always have a kick-ass soundtrack, and this one is no exception. It is a kick-ass soundtrack. So it was good times.
Well, on the 4th, I watched Free Guy for the first time.
That was a good one.
I've had it for a while, and I really did. It deserved its Oscar nod, and it's about a guy who basically is living in a Grand Theft Auto game, and he gains some insight into his situation. And that's the best I want to say about it. It's almost as fun as the premise. Ryan Reynolds does an excellent job. They utilize that Disney ownership of products.
And Jodie Comer as his co-star was excellent too. Yeah.
I felt like they could have done a little bit more with it, with the story itself, but had to concentrate on the love story angle. But still, I thought it was a great film, very Truman Show-esque, very enjoyable. If you haven't seen it, you should see it. It's a fun film. I watched Axe Grinder finally for the first time on the 4th, and then I'm just going to hit the rest of these. And on the 8th, I did 2 through 4. And then on the 9th, I did 5. And so I finished off all the Axe Grinders in the box. Axe Grinder is an excellent slasher film. It embodied Camp Blood better than most of the Camp Blood movies. It really did. It was really good. It's the one I had to see because it was the only film I hadn't seen that was referenced in Camp Blood Kills, which references pretty much most of the Camp Blood films up to the time, I think through 7 at the time. Maybe Ghost of Camp Blood. No, just 7. And then Axe Grinder, and then for some reason The Occultist. I don't know why they threw The Occultist in. So I'm glad to see that. It was a really good slasher film about a clown killer guy who's got a clown mask, a zombie thing hunting the woods. 2 through 4 were okay, and 5 was okay. Not a lot to write home about. Much more of the same, but didn't hit quite like that first one. Oh my! But you could tell that they were kind of grinding these last ones out, as so to speak.
In that some.
Well, I mean, 3, 4, and 5 came out like right on top of each other.
Right.
So yeah, it's but still pretty decent. I like that they added to the lore, and I do look forward to Axe Grinder 6. I'm hoping they don't release 6, 7, and 8 like that. I would like to see them just concentrate on one. Thank you. One film at a time. All right, I had a short walk on Girl. I watched Drive My Car on the 10th.
Something similar.
And it was a good film. I liked it. It won Best Foreign Language Feature. No. Best International Feature.
Right.
And yeah, very good film. Very much worth it. Deserved the win. I was all behind it. So for the most part, I think there was another one I really wanted. Flea. But sadly, Flea got just ignored.
Yeah.
Nominated 3 categories. Failed all 3. But
well, yeah.
But hey, it was nominated in 3, and there are a lot of actors that have gotten together more recently saying that I can't remember which ones, but they're fairly decent names, have actually gotten together and have been publicly saying that Oscars needs to start taking animation seriously.
It's about time.
And that they're only thinking it's for kids. And I think Flea's loss, which I covered Flea last time, but I think Flea's loss is a good speaking point to that. And not only that, but what they said about the anime, because they said something about it being for families and stuff like that, I believe, at the Oscars.
Probably.
So, which Encanto deserved to win that, I'm not going to lie, but I am kind of sad that Flea got left in the dust.
Yeah. And I'm kind of sad I still haven't seen Flea or Drive My Car, and I don't know when I'll be able to see Drive My Car.
Both really
Although
good
Flea
films.
will have a physical release. I think it does already.
Yeah.
So I will get that eventually. We'll see.
Worth having. Very much so.
Now, my next, I'm going to go ahead and do two because they're very different, and one of them is a number two after a fashion, and sadly is the one that I own. But I did see Death Toll at 4, Brown Snakes on a Plane. In the midst of all this quality that I watched, I will say this. It was the most entertaining Death Toll movie so far.
Compared to the others, wasn't the production value much higher?
It was higher.
I mean,
yeah,
it's not hard to go higher, really.
No,
but,
no.
But not $1 million high.
No.
I
It was clearly a low budget feature.
I don't think we have to ask.
No, I don't think so.
That'd be a lot of squandering of money right there.
Yes. No, they paid the what's his face Mint just to be in the toilet costume.
Potty is like
potty
mouth.
Yes, they paid Potty Mouth all the money. I will say this: you're right in that it has a pretty hilarious poster, and it might be a contender for that. It's the low budget feature I've seen so far this year.
So it's the leader just because.
So it has a point just because. And again, I did enjoy it more than the other Death Toll movies. That's faint praise, but it's there. The other one that I watched, I think, a night or two later, but I'm going to pair them up just for a slight contrast. A film that got a surprising amount of positive buzz, but it, of course, did not translate into Oscar love or anything. Just like Last Night in Soho got a lot of buzz, but not, any awards. Was the film Nobody, which stars Bob Odenkirk. And a lot of people were comparing it to, they called it sort of like an everyman John Wick, which is not 100% accurate, but it's not 100% inaccurate. It's kind of like if John Wick and Taken were kind of thrown into a blender with Better Call Saul. I think that's probably a pretty good idea of what you're going to get. Odenkirk does a great job in the main role. And I was totally not expecting this, but his father is played by Christopher Lloyd. And you can tell that Lloyd was enjoying every minute of what he was doing. And it's a fun movie, and I enjoyed it. And I really think it probably should have gotten more. I expect it probably will get a little bit of love from the Versus Awards.
So, haven't seen it yet. Maybe I'll see it in time. The June is coming quicker than you will think. You gotta get at least five low budget films out before June.
Oh, jeez.
All right, so the 11th was very heavy, and none of these would count towards low budget.
No.
And one of these doesn't even count for the Versus Award this year.
Oh.
So I finally watched Dune, which I thought Dune was okay. It's definitely a 4K film. I will definitely I'll probably get this, but I'm going to wait until they release part 2, and then they release a 2-part physical, because I hate just one part. I wouldn't even have watched it if it wasn't something that was up for a lot of Oscars, won a lot of Oscars,
Right.
and will probably be up for a lot of technical Versus Awards as well. I watched Turning Red, which is a 2022 contender and an amazing one. It was a amazing shot by Pixar, and much like Only Yesterday, was kind of shoved back to the streaming service because of things. But I still got to give Disney kudos for still releasing it. And it did get a lot of the controversies. Like, how dare you talk about what you talked about in this film? Like, whatever. It's about this girl who turns into a red panda because her family has this kind of curse where they turn into a red panda. And it's kind of about how people, about being yourself, about growing up, about adolescence in general, and the relationship that how it changes with your family. It's very good, very well done. very rare to see you talking about an Asian family in Canada.
Right. And then in 4 years, Pixar is going to put out the sequel where the young red panda lady is now an office worker who's dealing with death metal rage and goes to karaoke.
Yes, it was her origin story, obviously. I saw The Eyes of Tammy Faye, which won for makeup, which
And actress.
as an actress, and it was well deserved.
Mm-hmm.
About Tammy Faye Baker, I mean, very good film, very well done.
Actually, it was 2 for 2 at the Oscars. Most movies didn't even come close to that.
So, if you haven't seen it and you have any interest in that, or in the origin of the Bakers and televangelism and all that stuff, it's a good film to watch. Definitely makes Jerry Falwell look like the Godfather when you're talking about televangelism.
He's played by the Kingpin. It's so perfect.
And then, of course, I watched Spielberg's West Side Story, which was West Side Story. I mean,
With a new coat of paint.
The supporting actress deserved her win. It was an okay update for West Side Story, and that's about all I have to say about that, really, because that's exactly what it was. Really and truly, if you'd seen the Broadway performance, just imagine it with a good coat of paint on it, and you've got what you got. It's a good story. So, watch it there, watch the old movie, watch the street play. I think you'll get just as much out of any one of them.
Well, you're going to find we had a lot of overlap this month, so I'm going to go ahead and mention that I also watched Dune, The Eyes of Tammy Faye, and West Side Story. We'll wait on Tammy Faye for a moment, but I'll go ahead and
It's
give my...
Oscar season. We were trying to catch up what we could at the last minute. I'm sorry.
All right. Dune, for someone who is... This is an important caveat. We have a mutual friend who does not share our opinion of Dune, but he's a huge Dune fanatic, and that makes all the difference sometimes with these stories. I'm sure there are some West Side Story fans that absolutely despise the new movie for reasons. Dune, to the uninitiated, it's a pretty darn good space opera fantasy movie. I mean, it's beautiful in terms of the visuals, the technical stuff is wonderful. And I was calling for this to sweep the technical awards at the Oscars. I don't really necessarily think it should have. There were a couple of awards that should have gone to someone else. But I don't fault it for being a strong contender in all those categories.
Poor Joel Cohen.
Tragedy of Macbeth should have won the cinematography. We'll get to that.
If they had named it The Tragedy of That Scottish Play, it would have won.
Yeah, or they should have just called it That Scottish Play. That's
you see, they cursed themselves.
But anyway, we'll get to that in a bit. But anyway, so Dune, again, solid film. I agree that I was really annoyed to find out several months into it that it was actually only half the story, because that was not widely publicized at first. I can only imagine the people waiting in line to go in to see the movie, and they're like, the hell you mean this is the end of the movie? But I look forward to seeing the rest of it in a couple years when it comes out, and I'm glad I saw it. West Side Story, really good. I am not as familiar as I should be with the original. I've only seen it a couple times. From what I remember, it's a good, solid film. I had completely forgotten that it was a version of Romeo and Juliet until I was watching it. And actually, when they got to the balcony scene, or in this case, the fire escape scene, I was like, holy crap, this is Romeo and Juliet. And so for those people who complain about why would you remake West Side Story, I'm like, well, it's a remake to begin with.
Yeah.
So, and I do think that most Shakespeare can take reimaginings again and again. The only thing is, I don't think they reimagined much with this film. I feel like it was updated in certain ways. They brought back Rita Moreno, who won the Oscar for the first time, and gave her a slightly different role from what existed before. Gave her a chance to sing a number which that character I think did not sing originally. And then Ariana DeBose, who played the character the second time around, did a great job. It's one of the few times in Oscars that the same character in different films has won the Oscar for different actresses. You know, it's
And
kind
then
of...
didn't invite the lead
They
actress.
didn't even invite the main actor.
Well, they were intending on having her host.
Yeah, they did a few interesting things with this year's Oscars, but we covered some of that.
Yes, we did.
Yeah.
Watch the Oscar thing. We go through the beat for beat, including that one incident, that little thing that happened towards the end.
And I'll go ahead, I guess. For the Eyes of Tammy Faye, I was up late the night before the Oscars. And incidentally, I fit in Grave of the Fireflies too, so that may be on your next month for you. I
didn't
know.
bother watching it for this viewing.
Oh, right.
I've seen it 17 times. I didn't really need to see it again.
So anyway, I decided to go with an Andrew Garfield twofer, and I watched Tick, Tick, Boom, followed by The Eyes of Tammy Faye. And let me just say, he is phenomenal in both films. He really is. He is Jim Baker. He did a really good job. But obviously, he's much more likable in Tick, Tick, Boom. And but watching the two back to back gives you a good idea of how, yes, he did deserve to get an Oscar nod for something. And Jessica Chastain, she's on just this side of camp, just this side of camp. And she did a great job. I was shocked that she won actress, but I'd say she's overdue for a win, and I think she won for this one. But again, Vincent D'Onofrio, it's Jerry Falwell. That alone was worth the price of admission.
Yep.
And Tick, Tick, Boom, great music. Debut feature as a director for Lin-Manuel Miranda. Michael Showalter, director of Eyes of Tammy Faye. He's also done some really good movies over the years. So that was a fun twofer, and I enjoyed it. Yeah.
I mean, if you want to hear my thoughts on Tick, Tick, Boom, watch the last one.
Exactly.
All right. Well, I did get to see on the 13th. I saw the 2021 version of Scream, which was pretty good.
2021?
Yeah. The Scream remake came out in 2021.
Didn't it come out the start of this year?
I thought it was 2021.
I could have sworn it was.
Yeah, you've got a phone. My phone is being used.
Yeah, I'll have a look. I could have sworn it was the start of this year, but whatever.
But I saw the new Scream, and it was really good. I enjoyed it. I didn't know. It's not. Okay, let's see. I liked it better than the third and fourth one. But I didn't like it as well as the second and first one. That first one was just there. But I tried to do a couple new spins. Tried to keep it up to date. I think they did a much better job of making it up to date in comparison to the fourth movie, which tried its darndest.
Yeah. Second week of 2022.
Well, I have to take that one off my list. Oh, well. But I've got a couple others.
You got a couple for 2022, though. You got me beat.
So, I mean, like I say, it's not like I'm going to miss out on a lot of them. Then I went ahead and I saw Ascension, which was a pretty good one. I believe that was a short film, too, wasn't it? Ascension.
Wasn't that that was one of the documentary feature novels, wasn't it?
Oh, yeah, that was the one about the Chinese labor work. And that was a good one because it's one that I didn't expect that was getting made because, well, they tend to disappear you government-wise if you get too snoopy into it and see things in a not-so-favorable light. And that's it. The Chinese government and society is everybody happy. World is perfect. So, lives risked for that film. Much kudos. Sorry you didn't win, but at least you got a nomination. That's a positive. I'll go ahead and hit the 17th. We had Cool World, which was a fun film. I went ahead and found a cheap copy of what movie one was selling, so I was like, I'll kick him some money and I'll get a hold of it finally, because it's been out of print for a long time. It needs to get a Blu-ray cleanup. It was a good film. It did a lot of the same things that Roger Rabbit did, but in a very dark way. Much darker than Roger Rabbit. But still, very good film. I liked it. I mean, it kind of came along the same lines as Monkey Bone to me in some ways, but I did like it. And if you haven't seen it, you should check it out. It's a good classic. Of course, there's Please Hold. Miyuki-chan
in Wonderland?
in Wonderland. Yeah, I rewatched the copy I got a hold of again because I had to get another copy so that I could rip it for Dane, and it's just as terrible as I remembered it. Clamp, you should be ashamed of yourself for creating that. You do much better work. I don't get you.
Everybody gets one.
I'm gonna go and change this stuff to the dryer. So go ahead.
You gonna do what?
I got it.
I only have 2 left.
Oh, well.
So
let's see. Well, why don't I throw on let's see here. Well, I talked about Let There Be Carnage and the pickups.
all right.
So the pickups this week, you'll hear my thoughts on that. Bad or Ben, we did a discussion on that. One of the best Bad Ben films, matter of fact. The third one hits the horror comedy notes really well. If you want to hear more, you should go to our Bad Ben podcast where we talked about Bad Ben 3, me and Mo.
Cool.
So it's been a good one. No Exit. God, what was No Exit? I have no idea what No Exit is.
What's that one after Let There Be Carnage?
Janice.
Oh, okay.
Janice was a documentary about Janis Joplin. My father loved Janis Joplin and was there. Would you look up No Exit and tell the audience what No Exit is, because I don't remember it.
Okay.
I gotta change this.
Let's see what we've got here. No Exit 2022 film?
Probably.
Okay, during a blizzard and stranded at an isolated highway rest stop in the mountains, a college student discovers a kidnapped child hidden in a car belonging to one of the people inside. Oh, that sounds fun.
Oh, yeah. Me and Kim watched that.
Right.
Yeah, that was a very suspenseful thing. Because, you never know which one of these rest stop people did it. She's coming down off of heroin withdrawal. It's a pretty intensive one.
Sounds lovely.